Hello, good morning, and welcome back to all our viewers and any new viewers that happen to be here. You are at Two Retired Guys and a Podcast. My name is Naresh. That's my buddy Paul, and we're looking at everything about retirement always. But today we're looking at that retirement isn't just another life change. It's a full identity reset. Like this needs to be looked at because when people retire they go from a certain lifestyle to a completely different lifestyle, right, Paul?
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, for most
Yeah,
people, it's the biggest transition you have. Sometimes even more profound than starting a career or raising a family, right? So, and we'll look
yeah,
at some reasons today, and we'll look at some
yeah.
reasons
I
in our
find a lot
next.
of people get nervous maybe about retiring,
Yeah.
either
So
financially or identity or all that stuff. So it's a big step, right?
it's a huge step, obviously,
Yeah,
yeah. So we're going to look at 4 or 5 points today, and then we'll continue it in our next podcast. We want to have a long discussion, so we'll keep it manageable. So the first most important point, Paul, is you lose your structure. Once you retire, you lose your structure overnight. For decades, your life runs on a schedule. Wake up,
yeah,
commute, work, repeat. Retirement removes that instantly. No deadlines, no meetings, no external demands. So it feels at first it feels like freedom. Then it feels like disorienting. You go from not enough
yeah.
time to too much time almost overnight. Right, Paul?
Right. Well, it's like say you get six weeks of vacation a year. Well, now you're gone to 52
52
vacation
weeks of
weeks,
vacation.
right?
Yeah.
So whatever you did on that vacation time, you crammed in and for your 6 weeks now it's a permanent vacation, so it's a big
Yeah.
adjustment. Yeah,
It definitely is. Right away it is. It's not even something something that creeps in. It's you're retired. You're working and then you're retired. So the next
yeah,
week after that, and as you've always said, that people should take maybe a couple of months, 3 months, just take it easy and start going about it that
practicing.
way, right?
Yeah,
Practice it. Yeah.
yeah, practicing. It's again, you got to practice. Exactly. Yeah, because your retirement could be sometimes longer than your actual career. Depends how long you
Absolutely.
live, and right, you work
Yeah.
30 years, you could have a retirement for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a
You
whole new career.
absolutely. So like people shouldn't rush into like, oh my god, I got to start playing. Take your time. That's my advice from what you and I've gone through. Take your
Yeah,
time. Don't feel stressed because that's the whole point of retiring is to let that stress go.
yeah,
Don't feel stressed like, oh, I got to set something up right now, got to do it,
yeah.
otherwise I'm going to look like a failure. No.
No,
Get up every morning, start setting a new routine, includes having a nice cup of coffee,
yeah,
stress free.
yeah. It's your time to
So
do what you want to do now. No deadlines.
exactly, you do lose your structure, so no more deadlines, meetings, or any external demands from work and whatever else was associated with it. So but if you can slowly start figuring out exactly what kind of a structure, new quiet structure that you will set up from here on,
Yeah,
right? So, and speaking of work, Paul, number 2 point is your identity takes a hit. For many, work is a core part of identity. Like you're a manager, engineer, business,
yeah.
and doctor, ambulance, police officer. Retirement forces a deeper question: who are you without your job title? Right? This is for some people is a little bit hard.
Yeah. Well, that's you got to think that was part of my life. Now you could be a new manager now of your own life. So it's just you got to switch it up, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
that was part of your life. It's not your whole life. So that's what you got to kind of balance. Yeah, I was this, but now I want to do this. Right? So everyone
exactly.
will go through it, right? So yeah, just be your own manager of your own life now.
Exactly. You're managing your how you will move forward from here on, and take your time figuring that out.
Yeah.
Again, and I'll say it throughout this whole thing. Once you retire, unless you've already figured it out. If you haven't, you're retired, and okay, so now take that 3 months, relax, enjoy, and figure out what sort of structure you'll have in your life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So yeah, that was
So
just, it's a big part of your life, but it's not your whole life.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know what? Most people retire by 60. Most, I'm not saying all.
Yeah.
Some people keep working. That's their choice. But when you do
Yeah.
retire, yes, that part goes. You're no longer associated as, whatever whatever CEO. What
Yeah.
So now this is your private life now,
Yeah.
right? That's what it is.
This,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And this is a big one too, Paul, because once you retire, your social world shrinks. Work provides built-in social interaction like daily conversations, shared goals, casual friendships. Once you retire, these connections often fade, right?
Yeah.
So you got to try and replace them a little bit. You know, loneliness can become a real risk if not managed intentionally.
Yeah. Well, you have different relationships, right? You have work colleagues and different relationships doing there, and some build into a longer term. But yeah, when you retire, you get different social circle. Your social could be your church or whatever. It's just different. You could have just as big a social circle if you're, you know, really out there and doing a lot of stuff in the community. It'll just become different.
Yeah,
They're not they're not your colleagues or whatever that you all have a common goal of under a company. Now you got different. So you have your church friends, you have other friends, whatever groups you're part of. So yeah,
absolutely. So here's the thing, right? Like when from the time we started going to school back then, you've always had these groups,
right.
that you could rely on, right? Like you always had these 8, 9 friends, really close friends in high school. Then you go to work, start working full time, and you have develop new relationships and maybe
Yeah,
another 8 or 9, 10 close friends. So you've always relied on this all your life.
yeah,
These close. You can always go to work and chit chat about everything, right? You get to know people. There's probably two or three you really get to know well,
right.
right?
Well,
So once,
not everybody. Some people like have that one friend they've had since grade school and been around
yeah,
forever, and
yeah,
that's great. Or two
yeah,
of them. Not many have like multiple, right? Because people, it's like a tree; they branch out, right, all over the
yeah,
place.
yeah,
So that's good if you keep that, maintain that relationship. But yeah, you build new. And that's our human nature, right? Constantly
yeah. So once you
meeting.
retire, then yeah,
Yeah,
once you retire, again, your advice is, the advice would be have 3 or 4 years. I mean, it's really up to you, but
yeah,
our advice has always been, get a close group of friends, 4 or 5 group of friends that are really close, and you can, then you don't feel pressure to always you know what I mean, like it's
yeah.
to have a group of 50 or 20, unless you really enjoy that kind of thing, that's different. But most
Right,
people, once they retire, like to have a quiet lifestyle,
right.
right?
Well, if you're
But you
part
got
of a
to have some
team,
friends.
you're playing hockey or baseball, or you're part of a team or something, then yeah, you have
Yeah, whatever
socials,
sport,
whatever's,
whatever
yeah,
sport you might be in, even if it's not a sport,
yeah,
you can wear in your neighbors, other people who have retired that are in your life, that kind of thing, right?
yeah,
But it is important to have some, because I wouldn't recommend a person retires and then just you and your spouse sit at home and that's all you have. That's going to be really difficult, because then you'll get on each other's nerves.
yeah,
Everybody has to have their own little. You have your own, of course, together world, but then you also have to have a little bit of your. Each one has to have their own little world as well.
right, yeah, yeah, agreed,
You have to have your own friends.
yeah,
Again, some people play hockey. They still play a little bit of hockey, or they go whatever, go fitness, if you go to a gym or whatever, you have a person whom you go jogging with, that kind of thing, your neighbors. So build that small circle if possible, and keep that small circle. You don't have to see people every day, but a few times a week is nice.
yeah.
and it's important.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it's important.
Oh yeah.
So, which goes into the next point. You're, you now that you've retired, your relationship with time completely changes. So before
Oh
retirement,
yeah.
yes, yes, it was time is scarce. God, wish you had more hours in the day. You're always begging for some time. Time is scarce and valuable. After retirement, time becomes abundant, but you have to have some purpose. Otherwise, it can feel meaningless, right? Days can blur together without
Yeah.
intentional planning. You have to have some intentional planning, some intentional planning.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, time will just slip by, right?
Yeah. Oh, it does. Again, it's just you can have some of those days. You're retired, and then
Yes,
you
absolutely. You
know
deserve
you
it. Yeah.
yeah, and if you're part of some groups, you're gonna have weekly things going on anyway, so you have something to look
Yeah.
forward to. It's not like
Yeah.
there's always something going on if you're part of different groups, right? So if you
Yeah. But
curl,
even,
whatever,
yeah,
you
exactly. Well,
know,
but even in itself, like you know, people will have their own routine inside their home as well.
yeah,
You so this is again, as I was saying before, the first point that I had made was you lose structure, but you can make a structure. So once you're to, you can have Mondays, I'll do this. Every Monday I'll, do this dusting. Tuesday I'll
yeah,
do my laundry. Wednesday I'll do this. Thursday, you can try and set up a little bit of structure so that
yeah.
every,
You can you can you can finally fine tune when you can go to Costco.
That's a good point. Yes, Costco. Yeah, because figure out when exactly is the best time to go so you don't hit the. 'Cause if you get there at Paul, if you get there right at 9, it's nuts. Everybody wants to
Y-
rush in there.
Well, yeah, there's lineups
What do you think?
normally, but not too bad. But yeah, you can.
Because
I've
I've seen
seen
that.
I've seen lineups
Yeah,
before it opens. Yeah,
it's
they're lined up,
crazy.
ready to go. But
Like it's a little bit crazy. Like but I try to go right around if I go around 10 o'clock. The reason being that that huge rush that's coming in the morning, that's in and out. So
yeah,
now it's a bit easier to get, and so it's things like that. You
yeah,
can figure out when you're going to go for your grocery shopping. It's just set up
yeah,
everything every day,
yeah,
different days, cleaning of your home, doing your laundry, looking after your yard, going doing your grocery shopping. There you go, right there, right? There's
yeah.
some purpose. Which
Right.
day will you go workouts in the morning, that kind of thing, right, Paul?
Yeah. Right. You could fill your day quite well.
And I've even run across some people. I remember when I was still working, and you and I retired very closely. People who had retired, I'd see them once in a while, and they would say, uh, I'm busier than I was before.
Right. It's true.
I'm like,
It's true.
it never made sense to me. But
It can
why
happen.
did you retire? But
Because
the
not
thing is, they're doing things they enjoy. They're doing
right,
things they
right.
enjoy,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's not that pressure because your income is set, should be anyway, right?
Yeah.
Your expenses are set, and so whatever you're doing now, you're doing for fun of it. Yet it might get busy a little bit because everybody has, may have parents to look after. You still may have, kids at home, possibly may or may not. So all this can make the day go a little bit faster. So you know what? Some people I can see, because if you got to look after your
Yeah.
parents, then that couple of times a week, if one, maybe
Yeah.
even once a week, you still have your own grown-up kids who are still on their way, to moving out or something, but they're still going through. So I mean, so that keeps you
Yeah.
busy, and then your own stuff keeps you busy. And I can see that's where
Yeah.
people say, "Well, gee, you know." I'm still busier than I thought I would be. I don't, sometimes I
Well,
don't
it's
have enough
true.
time. How can
Yeah.
that be? But that's how it is.
You're gonna
So,
have to
you
retire
know,
from life.
that's it. So
uh,
at times, so those are the first 4 points that we wanted to look at today. And, again, with retirement in itself, going from that 35 to 40 years of being really, really busy and looking at, appointments, this, that, goes to a new point where you have the time to set up your life the way you want to set it up, right,
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You know, nobody's going to tell you, like, there's no, uh, oh, you're 10 minutes late at work. Where are you? Where are you? You know, or, that kind of thing. Oh, got to go pick up the kids from school. You're like, gotta rush, gotta rush. Got to take
Yeah.
the kids to doctor's appointments. Gotta rush, gotta rush. All that's gone. All that's gone. So what's
Yeah.
left now is basically for a person who's retired, for them to figure out how and you have the time. And I always tell people who are about to retire, take your time for 2 or 3 months, 3 months, just settle down,
Yeah.
figure it out. Don't
Yeah.
stress.
No
Enjoy
stress.
yeah, enjoy the new freedom,
Yeah.
right,
Ease
Paul?
into it. Ease into it.
Ease into it because you got, you know, more the merrier. Hopefully, you got 35, 40 years of enjoyment ahead of you, right?
Who knows? Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As so enjoy, what you have worked so hard for, and don't stress out. And these are
Right.
the things that we, wanted to talk about. That's part one of our, retirement reset. Reset of your life, and we'll look at next week further another 4 or 5 that really important points
Yeah.
that come up. And as all our viewers know, we always look every week at everything that's retirement. So I hope all of you liked our podcast today. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, because we really want to know how you're spending your retirement. How, after being busy and cutthroat busy, you've gone to this new part where it's peace and quiet. So please let us know how you're handling it.
Yeah.
So it's really good to hear from our viewers where you're watching from, whether it's in New Zealand or where it's here or in Honolulu, wherever it may be. Please let us know where you are, where you've retired to possibly. So if you like our podcast, please give us a like. Please subscribe if you have already subscribed. Thank you very much. And if you're new and landed here, please subscribe. It helps us out with the algorithms. We have no paywalls of any kind. Everything's free. And turn on your notifications, and please share it with your friends. That's most important, because we love to hear from everybody. So again,
Yeah.
thank you very much. And we'll see you same time, same place, same channel next week. Thank
Have a good
you.
week.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.